Hello and welcome to a conversation on the Daily Burn. I'm your host, Eric Miller, joined today by maybe the fiercest and fightingest progressive that I can think of, the great Nina Turner, Senator Nina Turner. How you doing, Nina?
I'm fine, Eric. How are you?
I'm doing very well. I'm very excited to talk to you. Admittedly, I'm a bit of a fanboy, so I'm gonna try to keep that a little bit in check, but I admire your work immensely. I call you a hero on a regular, so
Thank
it's
you.
an honor to chat with you. What I thought I would do, I could talk to you about a million things, but what I thought I would do is just frame this a little bit around the present, the past, and the future, right? So obviously, the present, the news of the day is, the election. We're a whisker away, right? So just what are your general thoughts about that?
This is exhausting. President Donald J. Trump has been exhausting, and that's being kind.
Yeah,
Uh, from I mean, there's just a heaviness in this nation, and although it is clear, I mean, nothing has been called, but it's pretty much
right.
clear, foregone conclusion that Vice President Biden will be President-elect Biden. We are going to have to deal with the deep fissures in our nation, even though President Donald J. Trump will be former President Donald J. Trump, and that's a relief for many. There's still millions, right? Over 60 million, like closer to 68 million people who still voted for him, and we're gonna have to deal with that as a nation. But I'm really disappointed that it has taken this long, and that's not any shade against the people who are counting the votes. I mean that by it should have never really been this close,
Yeah,
given who we were running against. And so it's going to have to be a lot of soul searching after this election is called and when it's time to start governing.
yeah, yeah. Like post-Trump stress disorder is what I'm
Pretty
preparing for that, right? Yeah, and clearly Bernie would have been would have defeated him handily, no question.
clearly, I might be a little biased. You might be here too, but clearly, yeah, I certainly believe that. We'll never know that, but I do believe that because our campaign and Senator Sanders for so long, for well over 40 years now, has been speaking to the material conditions of the poor, the working poor, and the barely middle class in this country, even when people didn't realize it. I mean, certainly he's a senator from Vermont. Vermont is a smaller state in our union, but all folks have to do is go back and roll the tapes or check the receipts, as the younger folks would say, and you will see the senator somewhere, somehow on the front line, especially when it comes to issues of class. And so when you look at the workaday people of this nation, as my good friend Jim Hightower calls them, it really is a big gap between those people and the less than 1%, and the fact that real wages have not increased. People have lost their employer-based health care because of this pandemic. The pandemic has just blown away all illusion that anybody may have had about this system being fair. So in that regard, Senator Bernie Sanders certainly would have
Yeah.
won this race across working class people of all ethnicities.
Yeah, no doubt. There was, I don't know how closely you followed like House races and such this week, but there were a lot of really solid progressives running full throated Medicare for all,
That's
Green New
right.
Deal and stuff. Julie Oliver, Mike Siegel, I could list 100 of them. Adrian Bell, right?
Cori
Um,
Bush, yes.
well, Corey won, right? But there were
Yeah,
so many like Corey Jamal Mondare,
Joan.
Marie Newman, right? But like
Mhm.
Kari Eastman lost, right? There were so many really good progressives, and I heard the Republicans didn't lose a single House seat. Like that's inexplicable to me. Why do you think that is? Like these bold progressives, it was a bit of a bloodbath for a lot of House races. What are your thoughts on why that was?
Republican gained seats, I believe, because there was no clear message at the top of the ticket or the Democratic Party itself in terms of economic issues. I saw some data, and it might have been from something that David Sirota wrote in his publication about among the voters who care deeply about the economy, the overwhelming majority of that pocket of voters, and I don't want to throw out a number because I don't have that number quite memorized, but of those who listed the economy and exit polls as their top issue, the majority of those people voted for President Donald J. Trump.
Mm,
Also, of the people who the question was asked, who cares about me and my issues? President Donald J. Trump won in that category too, overwhelmingly. And that should not be the case, given the juxtaposition between what President Trump said he was going to do and what he actually did. And so the Democratic Party itself is going to have to do a post-election assessment, not this pat on the back, kumbaya, defeated President Donald J. Trump. That should have been a given, even though you got to work for it, you don't take anything for granted. But the fact that so many House seats were either lost or not won begs the question whether or not the everyday people of this nation feel as though the Democratic Party is speaking to their material needs, bigger than just being anti-Trump. Because as far as I'm concerned, being anti-Trump is a very low bar.
Yeah, well, yeah, absolutely. But like you mentioned, Cori Bush, Jamal Bowman, Monda, I can't wait to see them on the House floor, just raising hell. You're the hell-raising humanitarian, but I can't wait to see, what they do. Talk about, the inspiration that they bring. We have the squad and Ro Khanna, and we're building the bench in the House. Talk about what that looks like, what that means for you.
We really are. I'm so glad you brought up Congressman Ro Khanna. As you know, he and I both served as 2020 national co-chairs for Senator Bernie Sanders, along with Ben Cohen, the minister of ice cream, as the senator used to call him, and Mayor Cruz from San Juan, Puerto Rico. And I'm telling you, I could not have had a better group of colleagues to work with on that campaign. Just courageous. And because Congressman Ro Khanna is actively elected right now, and so is the mayor. I mean, she won't be next year. I mean, just the amount of courage that they both have shown in standing up critically on the issues. And Congressman Ro Khanna in that House of Representatives has been courageous, unflinching in his commitment to working people in this country. So to have the Cori Bushes and the Mondairs join and the Bowmans join that, I think they're just going to continue to add the spark that is necessary. And they really symbolize the direction of this country. I had an opportunity, Chris, last week to talk to some students who attend Howard University, and to have those students really pour out their hearts about their future and about the dreams that they have. They were very disappointed about this election cycle, although they knew they had to get out to vote, and they assured me that they were. And as we can see, the numbers show that young people came out to vote, contrary to some labels that some folks like to give them. But the vision that they have for this country is very much in line with the vision that we have on the progressives, and also that our campaign was really pushing. So that is the future. Gen Z and the millennials really do see this nation, or they really want to see this nation go in a more progressive direction. So whether that's the Green New Deal, you look at the Sunrise Movement, young people doing the thing, holding people accountable, pushing the agenda to Medicare for all, to canceling student debt. Those two generations are on the move to push this nation in a more progressive direction, and I'm here for it. Very excited.
Here, Godspeed. You mentioned Ro Khanna. It's my prediction that, God willing, if Kamala Harris makes it to the White House, which seems like she's going to, Ro Khanna may run for that Senate seat. Do you have any thoughts or insight on that? Would you be supportive of such a move?
He may run. I don't want to reveal any insider information that I may or may not know. I mean, Congressman Ro Khanna and I obviously have a relationship. I hope he does go for that seat. In California, you have other progressives who may go for that seat as well. But if he goes for it, I'm definitely there to support his efforts to do that. And you mentioned Senator Harris. I mean, you're right. Nothing has been called, but it's looking like that is going to be the ticket that is in the White House come 2021, and the historic nature of both, in terms of age for Vice President Biden, and in terms of for Senator Harris, her being a woman and a woman of color is really a big deal, and the symbol of that is important.